What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the next episode of the Post Grad Power Up. If this is your first time here, welcome. Hopefully, you'll be able to gain some great insight and information specifically for recent college graduates on how to navigate from after graduation and as they get into the workforce field. For those that do not know me, my name is Eric B. Horn, and I am a career and business strategist. I'm also an author. I have a couple of training programs from the first 90 days on the job, or even helping young professionals or recent college graduates transition from graduation to the boardroom or the corporate space or their first professional job. Also, I am the owner of Eric B. Horn Career and Business Solutions, which is a career and business development firm based out of Chicago. And on a personal note, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I like to keep it real. Usually I have a suit jacket on and tie, but not today because I guarantee you guys, just 3 minutes before I even started this live, I had to talk to my daughter London just to make sure she doesn't make any noise. Prior to that, I had to make sure that she was fed, had her homework done, and the whole nine. So even though I'm a business owner and I'm very, very busy, of course, my first priority is a husband and a father because I want to make sure that regardless of how successful I am or how big I get, that does not take precedence, over being a father. But enough all of that for the time being. So today on the Post Grad Power Up, we're going to talk about how to analyze a job offer. So a little bit of background information on why I chose this topic. I was coaching one of my clients for the past couple of months, and finally, she's gone through the interview process, and they're at the point where they're going to offer her a job. And immediately, she was going to take the offer without analyzing anything, going back and forth. Basically, she was diving head first into the corporate pool in a sense. And I can understand the reason why. She graduated in May. She's been going through a slew of job interviews. She's gotten to the point where she even made it to the final round for some previous job interviews, and she didn't make it. So at this point, she's looking for an opportunity. And even from a mental perspective, if you're a college graduate and you've gone through the process of for the past 4 to 5 years, going to school, staying up, stressing out, not knowing you're going to even graduate, once you get to the point when you want to graduate, most people or most graduates don't shift their mind to say, okay, I really got to ramp it up even more. You're going through this process for the past 4 to 5 years and you're ready to hit cruise control. But in actuality, you need to put the pedal to the metal when it comes to looking for a job and even turn it up even more once you actually get the overall opportunity. But before she even says yes to the opportunity, we went through a little exercise on how to analyze that actual job offer. And at a high level, analyzing that job offer was a 5-step process. And I'm going to actually break down that process with you guys. So if there's anyone on this live stream that is currently, in the process of looking for an opportunity or they're at the point where they're about to be offered something, this will help, right? Also, if there's anyone on this live stream right now, feel free to put a question, a comment, a concern about how to analyze a job offer, but even talk about some of your experiences in the chat. I want to make this very two-way like conversation, right? Because not only am I presenting this information, I'm always the type of individual that I would want to learn from my overall audience, right? Like as you hear, I don't know if you guys can hear it upstairs. I just asked my daughter to kind of keep it quiet. But of course, when it comes to kids, they do the total opposite of what you ask them to do. So if you guys hear any sliding of a chair, things of that nature, that's just my daughter. Actually, she wanted to come on, but I was like, no, you're not going to come on, especially if you are going to crack jokes and all that good stuff, right? But at the end of the day, you always want to do it for your kids. But if you're in the process of starting the negotiation phase, and that's something I also will talk about but you want to look at these 5 tips, 5 strategies, 5 angles when it comes to analyzing a job offer. But the main thing is you just don't want to accept the offer because you may be setting yourself up for failure, or you may be setting yourself up to not have a lot of wiggle room. This is what happened to me once I initially graduated from college. It took me a year and a half to actually find my first position, if anyone knows me. And during that process, I was still working a part-time job, but I needed to make a substantial amount of money. But even more importantly, I wanted to start to work in my field. So when an opportunity came along, I jumped at it. And even though it was a great opportunity, there were some things that if I took the time to analyze the job offer, I may have not done it. One of the key things for analyzing the job offer, for anyone that's looking at this live stream or look at the replay, and if you are looking at this replay, please put replay in the chat so I know that you were there. I At that point in time, I stayed on the far, far, far south side of Chicago. However, my first opportunity was in Skokie. And for anyone that stays in Chicago, you understand how far the commute is from the south side of Chicago to Skokie on public transportation. Let me kind of put it in context for you. I took 2 trains and 2 buses. So a commute going one way took me 2 hours, in some instances 2.5 hours. So in order for me to be at the job at 8 in the morning, I had to leave out my house at 6 in the morning and endure that commute on public transportation. Now, once again, I was in a position where I needed money and I really wanted to start working because I didn't have an opportunity for that year and a half. So I jumped right into it. But if I could do it again, I may have not taken on that opportunity because it was too far of a stretch, and that commute it took a toll on me both physically and mentally, because 4 hours a day I'm traveling to and from my job. And if you would add on the other 8, in actuality I had to work a 9-hour day, so that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 13 hours a day that I was away from my house. So the only thing I did was work and sleep until I was able to get a car. But once again, I jumped at the opportunity thinking that everything would work out, or I would do things differently, or things would get better. In actuality, they stayed the same. But if I didn't look at things from a 360-degree perspective, I may have not endured some of the challenges that I endured with my first job, right? So based off of that, let me give you the first tip when it comes to analyzing a job offer. You want to evaluate the monetary rewards and benefits. What are the things that are in the initial offer letter that they've extended to you? It grows a lot more than just your overall salary. When you come out of college, the only thing you want to do is make money. The same way I said I wanted to make money. So nothing else mattered until I knew for a fact that I was getting paid. And the little salary that I was getting for my position, I was undercutting myself. To be very transparent, my first job as a PC tech, I was making $35,000. Now, to me, $35,000 was a lot of money when I was making part-time uh, money back in the day. But for $35,000, working a 9-hour day and traveling for 4 hours a day, it really wasn't worth it now that I look back on it. But initially, I was just looking at the money and I overall jumped at it. That's something that I do not want you guys to just look at it when it comes to the offer. Now, that's one of the key components when it comes to the offer, because you do want to get compensated based off of your work, your knowledge, your skills, or whatever have you. But not only look at the actual salary, look at their potential bonuses. Are there any financial rewards? Also, you want to look at the non-monetary benefits, like what does the insurance look like? What is the paid leave? Is there other components, especially in this day and age? Is it hybrid? Can the days that you can work from home? What's the growth opportunities? I'll talk about that piece in a minute. But initially, do not just look at it from a money perspective. Even if it's at the salary that you want to see what are the other non-monetary benefits that can even make the overall package even better. Side note, when it comes to the salary piece, when it comes to the salary piece, you also want to look at it from the perspective of what are they going to specifically have me doing day in and day out when it comes to this salary. When corporate America or when an organization pays you a substantial amount of money, there's a lot of unwritten or unsaid things when it comes to them extending you their overall money. When it comes to a college graduate, if a job pays you 70, 80, $90,000, of course, initially you're going to be very happy based off of that. But you want to take the time and think a little bit further on, if they're paying me this money, what are some of the things that they are not telling me, aka those aha scenarios, those aha moments when it comes to you actually working the job, which leads me to the second thing you want to analyze when they actually extend you the offer. And you should have done a little bit of this when it came to the job research. You want to assess the company culture and the overall work environment. I'm not saying every job is like this, but a lot of companies nowadays, if they extend you a certain offer, sometimes they don't talk about, or they may sugarcoat what the overall company culture is in the work environment, aka once again, some of the unwritten rules that's not on the website, that's not what people are going to tell you, but it's eventually that you are going to have to figure out while you working in that environment. For example, is the work environment, do they frown upon you not working past your specific time? There are organizations out there, if they're extending you a substantial amount of money, there is no such thing as 9 to 5 or work balance. You're going to get in there and you're somewhat of a slave, even though you're getting paid based off of what you are doing. And you want to ask yourself, is this the type of work environment do I really want to walk into? Some things that you can do to even further extend your research is, and I understand everybody doesn't have this, but if you have a network where the job that you're working at, you know someone that's working there, definitely ask them, what's the overall work environment like? Is it a slave ship? Is it an environment where people respect work-life balance? Even though anyone who's a recent graduate, there's really no such thing as work-life balance. You have to blend it in and you have to make it work for you the best way possible. If they extend you this offer and extend you a substantial amount of money, some organizations may not care that you have a family. Their main goal is, if I'm exchanging money, I'm exchanging a certain result. And you may have to spend a substantial amount of time at the organization to achieve that overall result. That's why it's so important to figure out what the company culture is and the work environment, the real work environment, when it comes to you making a decision if this is something that you want to accept or move forward. The next piece is, when it comes to analyzing a job, is this just a job or is this a potential career path, right? You want to analyze the job offer to see if there's any aspects of professional development. Is there any type of career growth? Or even more importantly, what is the overall stability of this organization? I've been in organizations where when I got there, the organization was very stable and it was ran like a well-oiled machine, but other individuals started to come to the organization and it disrupted it to the point where it felt like it just blew up and imploded on itself. And it created a hostile work environment. It created a opportunity for people who have been working for the organization for years to jump ship, because they know if the new regime that is coming in has a different mindset, it has a different perspective, and it may not go with your overall career path or your overall career goals. Now, I understand sometimes you may not be able to foresee this at the very beginning, because once you get the job and once you actually start, you're at the honeymoon phase, right? The same way when it comes to new relationships, a new marriage, or whatever have you. Do not be fooled. You will not see the full scope or the full capacity of what the organization is or where it's going for the first 3 to 6 months, because you're just happy to be there. You're happy to collect the check. Once again, you're in the honeymoon phase, but you have to be aware to say, is this the type of opportunity that I can see myself being in for the next 3 to 5 years, or this is an overall pit stop? This is a pit stop, and you've made that determination, and you know what you're getting into. So know that for a fact that you won't be in there in the long haul. Excuse me, in the long haul, or if this is something that you feel that you may want to be there for the next 3, 5, 10 years, you may want to determine that at the very beginning when it comes to accepting the offer, because a lot of these companies nowadays, they do bait and switch based off of a new direction that the company is going to, and it's their right, it's their prerogative, because they are the organization. But you, as a new recent college graduate, you have to make the determination if this is something that you want to endure, especially if you know that people feel like when they're working there, they're on a treadmill, they feel like they're at a rat race, and they're really not growing. And most recent college graduates, they have something to prove, and they want to grow, and they want to, have a career ladder. But if you're at an organization where they just see you doing this certain position for the time that you're being there, you want to make the decision if this is something that you want to endure. The next piece when it comes to analyzing the job offer is negotiate, negotiate, negotiate. Do not be afraid to negotiate when it comes to the position. Once again, going back to the monetary and the non-monetary benefits and the long-term growth and the investment prospects. It's okay if you do negotiate. Most college graduates do not know how to negotiate when it comes to their salary, because once again, mentally, they feel that they've been looking for a job, or they've been in school for so long, they're just going to take whatever's offered to them. And these corporations know that. That's why they try to lowball you as a recent college graduate. Now, on a side note, do not expect, and I need to really let me zoom in right now for the sake of saying this, but do not expect as a recent college graduate to be making six figures once you actually get your first job. That is very unheard of. Not saying it's impossible, but be very open to your salary and negotiate other things that will benefit you outside of the salary that you're going to get. But these organizations know that you're going to have some pushback, you may have some questions, or you may want to ask for a little bit more, which is totally understandable. Most organizations, and I've surveyed a lot of HR people, most organizations are surprised if the person does not negotiate, doesn't push back, as opposed to if they would, because HR's an organization's job is to hire the best talent at the lowest salary at the end of the day, because they have their own budgets, and they want to make sure that, and in some instances, if they're able to bring in someone or bring in some talent at a lower price than what they've budgeted for, some people may get more bonuses because they was able to negotiate well. So look at the overall offer. Do not be afraid to negotiate. Negotiate could be salary, it could be more vacation days, it could be additional training. Look at some creative ways that you can push back and push the envelope a little bit more when it comes to negotiating your job offer. No one on the planet Earth has ever gotten everything that they wanted when it comes to an overall job offer, and you're not going to be the first. Not trying to be negative. I'm just giving you an overall dose of reality. Some people have gotten close. So with you being a recent college graduate and knowing your skill set, and hopefully you have some experience, push back on them to say, hey, I would want more vacation time or other things that would make the package a lot better, but do not negotiate, right? And then last but not least, do your best when it comes to analyzing the job offers to align the job with your personal goals and your priorities. You, as a recent college graduate, you have priorities also. It may not be as big as someone who has an overall family, even though that is the case, but you need to know what your priorities are and stick to those, and be flexible. No, you would need to stick with them. In actuality, one of the things that I tell people to do when it comes to their overall priorities and their goals is when you're looking at the offer, take out a sheet of paper, okay, and create 3 columns. And the 3 columns will consist of one, things that are negotiable, right? Things that are non-negotiable, and then in the middle it can go either way, right? So you will want to take those 3 columns and based off of the offer, put those benefits and other things in those 3 columns. Write them out so you know what your overall priorities are, the things that you are not willing to budge with, the things that you are, and the other things that you may be somewhat in the middle. Doing that also would help with the overall negotiation. For example, if they know for a fact that you're going to be working a 9-hour day and your commute is going to be 2 hours long, if you have kids, that may not be the best opportunity for you because your kids will never see you, right? But make those 3 columns, and in the midst of those 3 columns, write down you think that you are willing to negotiate, things that are no goes, and what are some things that are in the middle. That will help you work wonders when it comes to analyzing the actual job offer with your personal goals and priorities, right? So we're going on 22 minutes now. So just to wrap up, once again, when it comes to these overall tips, strategies, when it comes to analyzing a job offer, I want you to take these 5 things and write them out when it comes to you having the job offer in front of you. Doing this will give you a better understanding of what you possibly may be walking into, what you can benefit from, some of the things that you will not be willing to budge with, and that will help you make the best decision possible, because once again, you're looking at it from a 360-degree perspective as opposed to looking at it from just how much money that I am making. Okay, so one other thing that I want to start doing is breaking down overall quotes from important, famous, very influential people that helps even drill down even more the lesson that I will teach today. So today's quote is from Confucius, right? And it says, choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Once again, as a recent college graduate, while you in school, you chose the major that you wanted. You chose the classes that you needed to take. You chose what the overall career track or where you ultimately want to be, even if it's for the next 5 years out. You choosing the right opportunity, that falls on the lines also. And the best way for you to choose the very best opportunity at that given moment is for you to analyze the job offer. And once again, that analyzing piece is looking at the job offer at a 360-degree perspective as opposed to just looking at how much I'm making. So I hope this guys served you well. If you guys had any other questions, comments, concerns based on anything that I talked about today during this live, feel free to put it in the comment, or you can DM me, or you can send me a message. Right now, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm on all platforms. So figure out what platform is best for you and message me, because I do not want you guys to underestimate how powerful it is to actually analyze the job offer and look at it from a 360-degree angle as opposed to just looking at it from the perspective of, okay, this is how much I'm making. The how much you're making is only 20% of the things that you need to look at to make sure that you are walking into the best situation as a recent college graduate. Okay, so thank you guys for your time, effort, and energy. My name is Eric B. Horn, and I'll see you on the next live. Later.